We all know sex can create excitement, it can create desire, hell, it can even create temporary closeness, but it does not automatically create emotional attachment. And the reason why we know this is true is simple. We've all seen it happen. We've watched men sleep with women and then disappear. We've experienced nights of intense physical connection followed by emotional distance. We've witnessed relationships where the sex is great, but the bond never deepens. So if physical intimacy automatically created emotional attachment, every sexual relationship would evolve into deep connection. But they don't. And the reason why they don't is because the physical act alone, no matter how good, how passionate or how frequent it is, doesn't change how a man feels about himself when he's with you. So really, when you think about it, what bonds a man long-term are emotional experiences that alter how he feels about himself in your presence. Not how you make him feel physically, but how you make him feel about who he is as a person. These emotional shifts, these changes in his self-perception that happen specifically when he's around you, create attachment that intimacy alone can never generate. That's why when a woman activates certain psychological states I'm about to share with you, something deeper than attraction begins forming. Attraction is about wanting someone. Attachment is about needing the version of yourself that exists when you're with them. Attraction can fade. Attachment, real attachment built on how you make him experience himself, that becomes part of his identity, part of who he is, part of what he doesn't want to lose. And from experience, I can tell you that when attachment begins through these psychological states, it's not a conscious decision he's making. He's not sitting there thinking, I've decided to become attached to her. It's happening below his awareness. He starts noticing he feels better about himself around you, more grounded, more motivated, more like the man he aspires to be. And gradually, unconsciously, you become associated in his mind not with pleasure, which is temporary, but with his best self, which is identity. That association, you with his highest potential, creates a bond that sex could never create on its own. Hi, I'm Gabriel Hart from My Daily Love, and in this video we'll talk about the 4 specific psychological states that create deep masculine attachment. The emotional turn-ons that bond men far more powerfully than any physical experience ever could. Number 1. Feeling like a better man around her. This is the deepest, most powerful psychological state you can activate in a man, and it's the foundation of lasting attachment that transcends physical attraction entirely. When your presence, not your body, not sex, but simply being around you as a person, makes him feel more focused, more disciplined, more ambitious, more emotionally open, more like the man he's working to become, he will not want to lose that. He cannot want to lose that. Because it's not about pleasure anymore, which is fleeting and replaceable. It's about growth, which is identity, which is who he is becoming. In simple terms, it's the difference between a woman who makes a man feel good in the moment versus a woman who makes a man feel good about himself as a person. The first is entertainment. The second is transformation. When a man is around you and notices, sometimes consciously, often unconsciously, that he's more productive, more motivated, more disciplined, handling stress better, making better decisions, being more patient, being more open emotionally than he is without you, you become psychologically essential to him. Not because you're doing anything to him, but because the version of himself that exists with you is superior to the version that exists without you. So please, the shift I want you to start making is this. Stop focusing exclusively on being the woman he desires physically and start becoming the woman in whose presence he becomes his best self. How do you do that? Not by pushing, criticizing, or trying to fix him. Not by nagging him to be better or having standards that feel like judgment, but by being someone whose energy, whose values, whose way of being in the world naturally elevates him. When you have your life together, when you're pursuing your own growth and goals, when you embody discipline and ambition and emotional maturity, his nervous system registers that and starts matching it. As a man, I can tell you this works because of mirroring and social baseline theory. We unconsciously adjust our behavior and standards to match the people we spend time with. If you're lazy, unmotivated, emotionally chaotic, he can be lazy and unmotivated around you without feeling bad about it. But if you're disciplined, growth-oriented, emotionally regulated, being around you creates subtle pressure, not from you but from himself, to rise to that standard. And when he does rise, when he notices he's becoming better specifically because you're in his life, that realization creates attachment that's almost impossible to break. Number 2, genuine admiration. When a woman notices and genuinely admires his effort, his discipline, his leadership, his restraint, his character, his specific qualities that actually require work and virtue to develop, it bypasses his ego entirely and hits his heart. And the reason this creates such deep attachment is that men rarely, almost never, hear real admiration. They hear attraction, "You're hot." They hear appreciation for benefits they provide, "Thanks for dinner." They hear generic compliments, "You're great," but genuine admiration for who they are and what they do? That's extraordinarily rare. Think of it like the difference between someone saying, "You're smart," generic you could say to anyone, versus, "I'm really impressed by how you handled that difficult conversation with your boss. The way you stood your ground while staying respectful showed real character." The first is a label. The second is specific observation of behavior that required strength or discipline or skill. The first can be said without really knowing someone. The second requires actually paying attention to who they are and what they do. That specificity is what makes admiration real versus performative. So here's exactly how you use this. Start noticing and explicitly admiring the specific things he does that actually require effort, discipline, character, or growth. Not "you're amazing." Too vague, sounds like flattery. But "I noticed you didn't lose your temper during that frustrating situation. That took real restraint." Or "The way you've been consistently working toward your goal even when it's hard is genuinely impressive." Or "I admire how you show up for your friends when they need you." Specific observation plus genuine appreciation for qualities that matter. From what I've seen, when admiration is authentic and specific like this, it affects men profoundly because it's so rare. Women often compliment men's looks or success or what they can provide, but rarely admire their character or effort or growth. When you become the person who sees and values those deeper qualities, the discipline it takes to wake up early and work out, the restraint it takes to not react when provoked, the leadership it takes to make hard decisions, the vulnerability it takes to be emotionally open, you're seeing and valuing the parts of himself he works hardest to develop. That kind of admiration creates attachment because you're one of the few people who actually sees and appreciates the effort behind who he's becoming. Most men I know guard their hearts against flattery and generic praise because we know it's often shallow or manipulative. But genuine admiration, specific, earned for qualities we've worked to develop, that gets past every defense. When you admire the right things, not his money or status or looks, but his character and effort and growth, and you express that admiration specifically and authentically, you become irreplaceable. Because you see him more clearly than anyone else does, and you value exactly the things he most wants to be valued for. That combination creates a bond where he feels truly seen and appreciated at the deepest level, which generates attachment that physical attraction could never create alone. Number 3, feeling deeply respected, not flattered, not complimented, respected. This is absolutely critical to understand because most women conflate respect with admiration or attraction, but they're psychologically different states. When a woman speaks about a man with pride to others, when she trusts his decisions without undermining them, when she doesn't mock or minimize his ambitions or goals, when she treats his judgment and leadership as valuable, that activates something primal in masculine psychology, because respect activates a man's identity, not just his desire. Desire is about wanting. Respect is about who you are. So when you think about respect in this context, I want you to understand it means speaking about him to others with genuine pride, not mockery or complaints. Trusting his decisions, even when you might make different ones, rather than constantly second-guessing his judgment. Taking his goals and ambitions seriously, not treating them as fantasies or hobbies. Believing in his capacity to lead and make good choices, not treating him like an incompetent child who needs constant correction. This really happens more than most women realize, and the reason why respect hits so deep for men is because respect is tied to identity and worth in masculine psychology in ways that aren't true for desire. A man can be desired by a woman who doesn't respect him. That's just sexual attraction. But he cannot build identity and life with a woman who doesn't respect him without fundamentally compromising who he is. When you respect a man, genuinely respect his judgment, his leadership, his ambitions, his character, you're telling him, "I see you as a man of value and capability." That message becomes part of how he sees himself when he's with you. The attachment this creates is profound because identity and self-worth are at stake. So when a man feels deeply respected by a woman, being with her reinforces his positive self-concept. He feels like a man of value. Losing her would mean losing that reflection of himself as worthy and capable. But when a woman doesn't respect him, being with her slowly erodes his self-worth, and eventually he has to leave to preserve his sense of himself as a man. Respect isn't a nice bonus, it's the foundation of masculine attachment. Without it, no amount of physical attraction or emotional connection will create lasting bond. Number 4, emotional safety. He can share something vulnerable, something he's afraid of, something he's struggling with, something he's ashamed of, some fear or doubt or weakness he doesn't show anyone. And when he shares it with you, you don't weaponize it later in arguments. Don't judge him for it. Don't lose respect for him because of it. Don't use it as ammunition or gossip to friends. You just listen. You receive it. You hold it carefully. That kind of calm, trustworthy presence in response to vulnerability, absolutely addictive for men. To help you understand it, most men go through life never feeling truly emotionally safe with anyone. We learn early that vulnerability is dangerous, that showing weakness invites attack or judgment or loss of respect, that our emotions are burdens to others or signs of inadequacy. So we develop these incredibly strong defenses, and we suppress and compartmentalize and never let anyone see what's actually going on inside. We become experts at appearing fine, at handling everything alone, at never needing emotional support. But underneath that armor is a human being who desperately wants to be able to put it down sometimes, to not have to be strong and stoic and invulnerable every single moment, to be able to say, I'm struggling or I'm scared or I don't know what I'm doing, and have that be okay. When a man finds a woman who creates genuine emotional safety, where vulnerability doesn't lead to judgment or weaponization or loss of respect, it's like finding water in a desert. The relief is enormous. The attachment that forms is unbreakable. So what does this actually look like? He tells you about a fear he has about his career, about whether he's capable enough, whether he's going to fail. Your response isn't, you should be more confident, or why are you so worried about that? Your response is, that makes sense, that's a real pressure. I can understand why you'd feel that way. Just validation, just presence. No fixing, no minimizing, no judging. He shows you something he's ashamed of. Maybe he cried about something. Maybe he made a mistake. Maybe he has an insecurity he's never told anyone. And later, when you're angry at him about something else, you don't bring that up as a weapon. You keep that vulnerability sacred. When I talk to men about the women they're most attached to, emotional safety comes up repeatedly. She's the only person I can actually talk to about what I'm really feeling. I can be weak around her without feeling like she'll lose respect for me. She saw me at my lowest and didn't judge me or leave. That feeling, that this person is safe to be fully human with, not just the strong, capable version, but also the scared, vulnerable version, creates attachment that transcends everything else. From what I've seen over the years, emotional safety is the rarest and most valuable thing a woman can provide because so few women actually provide it. Most women say they want men to be vulnerable, but then when men actually are vulnerable, they judge them, lose attraction, bring it up in fights, or expect men to be their emotional rock while offering no emotional safety in return. The woman who can receive a man's vulnerability without judgment, who can hold it sacred, who can make him feel safe being fully human, including the parts he usually hides, that woman becomes irreplaceable. Because here's the truth. Men can get sex from many women. We can get attraction from many women. We can get companionship from many women, but we can get emotional safety, genuine, trustworthy, consistent emotional safety where vulnerability doesn't cost us respect or create problems from almost no one. When we find it, when we experience what it's like to not have to carry everything alone, to have one person in the world we can actually be real with, we don't let that go. We can't let that go. Because emotional safety, once experienced, becomes a need we can't go back to living without. The attachment this creates isn't about desire or even love in the romantic sense, it's about survival and wholeness. You become the person who allows him to be fully human, fully himself, including the parts he has to hide from everyone else. That's not just attachment, that's becoming essential to his psychological well-being and sense of self. And once a man experiences that level of emotional safety with a woman, losing her would mean losing the only space in his life where he can be completely real. That's a loss he'll do almost anything to avoid, which is why emotional safety creates the deepest, most enduring form of masculine attachment that exists.